Yo, what's up everybody? So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, a little bit about my travels, and it's kind of a surprise to some people that I'm traveling alone. In order to really understand like everything, you kind of need to know a bunch of different stuff. So going to be going over that in this video. So when I was growing up, I took flights all the time. I've probably gone on at least 12 different flights, and that may be like to different airports and whatever, but probably around 12, 4 or 5 trips, and then smaller trips too. So when I was around 10 months old, I was brought into the US from Guatemala. I was born in Guatemala, and I moved to the US permanently. And I've just been traveling back and forth between Guatemala quite a bit. When I was younger growing up, I remember we did a few trips. A few I can't remember, like the time I was born, obviously, and I think there was another trip where I didn't remember it. But other times I have remembered it. I remember just getting on a plane, going through TSA, and everything like that just seems so natural to me now, because you spend maybe like 10 hours, 12 hours in an airport. I've at least done 24 hours in an airport. I probably spent more than 3-4 days in total in airports, which isn't a ton of time, but I'm so used to layovers and all that stuff. So basically growing up, my parents always wanted to go back to Guatemala, so we always took these trips when we were younger, especially when we were younger. I think we were a lot easier to handle when we were younger, even though it's still a lot as little kids, probably like 5 and 7 years old. Me and my two sisters, we usually took trips to Guatemala. So usually we went as a family. That's usually how it went, or there were like 4 people that went. So traveling really isn't new to me. I've gone out of the country so many times. I've gone to all over different airports and stuff. I've gone through a bunch of different airports, a bunch of different cities. But what's kind of weird is I've traveled more outside of the US and around Guatemala and around Central America more than I have actually been around the US. So this is my first time throughout the US. So I've lived in Madison, Wisconsin basically my whole life, and I moved to Milwaukee for college, and that's been going great, but I haven't really been outside of Wisconsin before. I've been around to a few surrounding states when I was younger. We took this one trip to get my dog once, and that was a while ago, and I don't remember any of it. But it was a car ride. But the one thing that I think I got out of traveling to Guatemala is, chaos. Like, a lot of the times it was either, I was gonna say, a lot of times it was me, sometimes my sisters, that just, I don't know, we all had issues internationally, and it was just like, we had to figure stuff out. Like, I think I got bit by something, or somebody got bit by something, and, in places like Guatemala, there's a bunch of foreign animals like any other place, and you really don't know what you're gonna find. So, in Guatemala, there were scorpions around the house, there were just a bunch of deadly things like snakes and stuff, and as kids you gotta kind of watch out for that. So I have this memory. There's this one girl that this is like kind of random, but she used to chase me around the oh, that's what bit me, dude. She bit me. Dude, we were staying at her mom's place or something, and we used to run. They had a pretty big lawn area and like a car, I think, and we used to run around the car, and I think she thought we were playing, but we weren't playing. Like, I was really trying to get away from her, but she bit me. She bit me. Anyways, so whenever we take these trips, there's a bunch of us. We get like maybe 2 rooms, one for the kids and then one for my parents, because they don't want to see us, obviously. So, and then we split off. We do whatever. That's not true. That is not true. We do not split off. Usually we go in a group, and I don't know how I learned this, but I just have learned to look around without the group and be able to come back to the group without ever getting lost. And I just see so many amazing things while I'm just I run or I walk 5 minutes away from everybody else, because everybody else is so close together. And it's just I don't know. I feel perfectly comfortable, and then I never lose them. I ask for directions. Literally, to me, it's second nature. Just, yeah. When you're in a group of 4 or 5 people, it gets, a bunch of people want to do a bunch of stuff. There's different ideas, and especially as kids, you don't really know what you're gonna do. So that's why I think I'm kind of used to solo traveling, just because I ran off so many times with my parents that it's just I don't even know if they thought I was gone or thought I was wherever, but I've just I'm pretty sure one of the days I was in Ecuador, I took a small stroll down the street or something. I don't know where I went. I went pretty far though. I think I went around the corner. Oh, my parents let me go around the corner a few blocks away, and it was just I felt perfectly comfortable. So fast forward real quick to today when I boarded the train. It reminded me a lot of the airplanes and all that I always took, and it reminded me of a combination between a bus and a plane, where you have a plane ticket and there's no TSA, which is the best part. There's baggage claims and stuff, but there's no TSA. So I think it was my latest flight was in North Carolina. That was my latest flight. I absolutely love that. It's just, I don't know, something about the takeoff, it's just so amazing. I love takeoff. I kind of don't like going down, but I like takeoff. I definitely like takeoff. Feeling a little parched. Currently I'm in Seattle, Washington, and this is my view. So, if you're at home watching, leave a like. No, but it's pretty. Okay, so going to North Carolina last year was my first time traveling alone, and it was I loved it. It was great. I had my own place. It's a lot less chaotic than I've seen it before. There was this one time in Ecuador, we were about to leave, and it was already a really long day, I believe, and we got a layover. So what happened was we went into the plane, and they said there were going to be delays, so we waited there 2 hours, and then they told us we could go outside of the plane because they were repairing it, or we could stay in the plane. And eventually, a few hours later, this was, mind you, at 10 p.m. at night. So it was probably about 1 a.m. when they made this announcement. And we actually didn't leave until the next morning. Not the next morning, the morning after. So we were there for almost a whole day. They don't have beds. They don't have anything. And that was probably the lowest of the low that I've gotten while traveling, I think. There might have been something worse. I don't remember. But, well, as far as layovers, that's the longest I've laid over. I think there's just like something about traveling alone. When people hear it, it sounds a little weird, but if you know what you want to see, or you're all right with really whatever, it's honestly fine. Like, the pandemic happened, all that stuff. So, I'm still in contact with a lot of people still. I'm still FaceTiming, talking on the phone, texting, but it's just like I'm in a different environment now. And one last thing before I end this video is this was not my first choice for what I wanted to do this month. This actually came up around 2 weeks ago. I tried a lot of different things. If you didn't know, I got kicked out of my house. So this was not the first option that I had. You got to keep your head up, and right now my head is up. This is a pretty cool view. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, maybe learned a little bit more about me, and don't forget to leave a comment where is the best place you've traveled. I'll be watching the comments while I'm traveling, and see you guys in the next video.